Hey y'all, it's Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. Picture this. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app when you spot it. A brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Smile. I'm your host, Dr. Amber Q, and I can't believe that we are already on the 31st of March. You may be listening to this on the 1st of April, depending on the time zone that you're in, but it is the start of the 31st of March in the UK, and I've just been thinking about a few things, and I just thought I would share those thoughts with you. So the other day I was in a lovely part of London in the city. I'd gone there to get a little something for a friend that was visiting, and I was in the heart of London, in the city of London. And when I mean the city, I guess I kind of mean, it's not quite the financial district, but it's this area of London where they have a beautiful park, but it's kind of quite close to Buckingham Palace, etc. But it's not quite, the financial heart of the city. And I'm just trying to describe this, obviously, for people who are not in London. And it's a beautiful part of London, but I don't go there very often, They have kind of the main passport centre there, and I went there previously. I think it's en route to Westminster as well, to the House of Commons when I was co-authoring my book with Baroness Hollins. So it's a beautiful part of London, and I'd actually gone to visit a chocolatier, one of the finest chocolatiers, and I was getting a little gift for a friend, and basically I saw a Palestinian flag, such a beautiful Palestinian flag. And I saw a group of people. So I asked the people, oh my gosh, was there a march on today? And they were saying that there was a march and that they were there to, stand up for what is right. These people were so lovely. They were all sort of white Caucasian, and they'd come from a different part of England, and they were going towards their coach. So they'd literally come down to London to attend a march to stand up for humanity. Isn't that beautiful? And I think the thing is that this brings me to today's topic of matters of real substance. So what is it to be a person of substance? I love this topic. And years ago, there was kind of a historical novel. It was a romance novel that was a book, and then it was dramatized, and that was called A Woman of Substance. I think they're doing a reboot of it at the moment. But the point is, it's substance, whatever culture you're looking at in terms of decency and humanity. Substance, I think, it is something that's going to differ, because obviously certain cultures or Western civilization looks at material success as true success, but we're not talking about success, we're talking about substance. So I'll try and make this as broad as I can, but obviously I look at things from an Islamic lens, and I love that because Islam is there for humanity. And I think the basic thing to be a person of substance is to have that humanitarian aspect or perspective, to want to protect the vulnerable, women, children, those who have complex needs, and also just that basic humanity, right? Where you want to do the best for others, or you have the intention to, I mean, obviously Islamically, one would have the intention of pleasing God, but essentially, if we weren't looking at that humanitarian perspective would be that you're doing good just for the sake of doing good, right? If we're removing that religious aspect from it. So, for example, those people that I met, I don't know if they were Christian, Jewish, Muslim, but at the end of the day, they were there because they were standing up for what they felt was right, for justice, for human rights, essentially. And I think that when we look at just sort of bog standard, and if you think about the people that you know, I think it's great to see what kind of people they are. Because yes, there might be people that have a positive effect on you, and different people are great for, different, no one's perfect. So for different facets. But it's really interesting because if you look at the conversations on LinkedIn, a lot of people will say that they have altered since recent world events of the past few years. They've changed their friendship circles, or they've lost touch with people because of certain viewpoints. And I think this is the thing, what do people hold dear? There's so many people that have their own issues, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, you don't have to have a degree for this, that, and the other. And personally, I find that is just almost reverse snobbery. And some people may have a complex about themselves, so in whatever aspect, and they might like to put somebody else down, thinking that is improving their own status. But I think that, that shows a definite lack of substance. Because if that's the kind of perspective you have, or someone has, that's not really conducive to real connection, or just to care for the other person. And it's so interesting, I think, that if you look at, one's acquaintances, and I see that myself, with people that I know, and if people behave like that, one doesn't need to say anything, but you just know that, people's behavior reveals their character, their actions. We always say that actions speak louder than words. And I think that sometimes if people are telling you who they are by their words, you have to listen and you have to believe them. So I think that's just so interesting. And I think that really substance in today's age, one knows what is being on the right side of history. And if one doesn't want to acknowledge that for whatever reason, then it shows a lack of substance. That's what I would say. And so as I look at my own friend circle, people I know, etc., and I mean, I think I've done this intuitively, but for all of my life, but it's more obvious now with everything that is happening in the world. But it's wonderful in a way because masks are dropped. And at the moment, we can really see what the world is like. Whereas I think a lot of us were deluded previously. But now things are really clear. And a lot of people are making their own stance clear just by their words and their actions or lack of actions. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. So something for me to think about, and I hope that it's been useful for you to tune in today. Until the next episode, let's all create connection and not just change lives, but save lives.